welcome back to Gamers Elf's Loft. Come in, sit back, and relax. I actually don't know how to start this video off because I didn't find this story. My partner did. And yeah, so I guess we just get into it and see what happens. I'm worried. Today's D&D story comes from r/D&D. From Reshadows, I had an extremely disgusting DM story. Uh-oh. I just recently got into D&D, and I've been wanting to learn how to play for a long time. And luckily, one of my friends offered to get her friend, a longtime dungeon master, to teach me how to play and let me join their campaign. I should mention that I'm a woman. My first character ended up being a female elf ranger named Rasa. And since I chose the path of beast mastery, her pet was a male black panther named Wilhelm. I like the name. I was really proud of my first character, and was looking forward to playing in my first campaign ever. I was the only cisgender woman in the party, as the friend that introduced me to the DM is a trans woman, whereas the DM is a cis male. And my husband and another mutual friend is a cis male as well. This is extremely important to what happened that made me decide to write this. The campaign group was just the five of us. The DM didn't have his own PC, and my husband's character ended up being the only male PC. I was a ranger, my husband was a cleric, our mutual friend was a fighter, and our trans friend was a sorcerer. Our first session wasn't too bad. We ended up being set into a haunted mansion due to a quest given to us by a priest NPC who promised a handsome reward for solving the problem inside the haunted mansion. It didn't seem too bad at first, and our first session was relatively short and simple. We ended up being inside the Haunted Mansion's library/study, which it was where we left off between our first and second session. Our second session resumed earlier today. At the time of writing, inside the Haunted Mansion, the DM ended up having my character investigate a mysterious painting of a long since dead 13-year-old noble boy. This boy was actually an heir to the late owner of the mansion, and there was a rumor that his family was still trapped inside his ghosts, hence the haunted part. The boy's name was Sarek. The DM said that Rasa, my character, heard whispering coming from the painting. So naturally, I had her investigated. Not even seconds later, a ghost rushed outside the painting and grabbed onto Rasa. Then the picture of Sarek disappeared from the painting, leaving only the painted background. Rasa ended up having a heart attack and literally died. My husband, the cleric, revived me, and we ended up going out of the mansion as fast as we could. Our party enters a tavern, and we decided to relax for a few drinks, since we needed to prepare before heading back into the mansion. My character, like myself, is a lightweight and cannot consume much alcohol. However, the DM told me that my character had the urge to drink one beer more than usual, and that the bartender slides over a mug on the house for no reason. I should have refrained from having that extra drink. You see, my character has low charisma, but the DM insisted she's a ractacular, just because she's an elf. What does that mean? His word, not mine. Next thing I know, my character passes out drunk and wakes up technically unconscious, no longer in control of her own body. The ghost of the 13-year-old boy from the mansion, Sarek, now has possession over my character's body. I'm unable to control Raza due to this, and instead, the DM starts controlling her. Even now, as I'm writing, I'm still furious as to what he made her do. I am not excited for this. So I'm giving a trigger warning right now for any possible variations of what could possibly happen. And yes, they did tell me that I should put a trigger warning. I should have done it in the beginning, but I'm doing it right here, right now. This is a trigger warning for any possible variations of either SAing or the R word. We're going there now. The DM has my now possessed character walk out of the tavern and rob the corpse of a random 80-year-old, finding over 400 platinum. The DM says, what a 13-year-old boy would do with such money in a medieval town? He sends my character to the town brothel to buy out the entire building. What happens next crossed the line. My character at this point is a level 1 ranger and cannot use any magic, but due to her being an elf, has a connection to Mother Nature. Coincidentally, Sarek was said to be an alchemical genius when he was alive, which allows him to use magic through Rasa. The DM flat out said that Sarek uses alchemical magic to create a certain masculine body part in places on my character. Yeah, he turned Rasa into Futnari, and seemingly no reason whatsoever, claiming that it was essential to the plot. Then he had her, still possessed by Cydric, literally impregnate all of the women working in the brothel. Judging from the look on the DM's face, he was imagining a little too strongly when he was describing all the intimate little details up to the point where my character passed out drunk and satisfied. According to the DM, it was implied that my pet panther had his tail tucked between his legs and with an ashamed look on his face as he followed my character into the brothel. It was definitely implied that there was some unspoken bestiality involved. At this point, I didn't even know what to say during the session. The DM was pretty much controlling my character, and the rest of the party couldn't really do much about it. I was the only cisgender woman in the group, but not the only female character. After the DM mentioned that my character passed out, I stood up, told the DM that I wanted my character to commit suicide when she wakes up, and promptly left the table and the campaign. I don't know what to say to this, but other than when anything out of your control happened to your piece that you didn't like started, it should have been ended right then and there, saying that you're done with the party. If this doesn't stop, you're done with the group and leaving. This should not have gone on as long as it should have. I am not blaming anybody but this despicable DM. That was awful. I don't even know what's happening in the rest of this little story. I think there's only like a couple bits left. That was awful. None of you should have let that go on for as long as you did. None of you should have. That baffles my mind that you guys let it go on that far. You had 5 people to 1 where you guys could have stopped this. Like, I get. No D&D. You want to play D&D. I understand that. I personally want to play more D&D before. I've never actually played a full campaign of D&D ever. But I know personal boundaries. If they break lines, stop all of it. Say no. Be okay to say no. If you aren't, have someone else do it. That should not have happened. And I am so sorry to all of you that had to deal with that. This DM should not be able to do that. And it does honestly seem like from there, he had this planned out from the beginning. And I don't know how or why he would even plan that. But it should not have gone on that far. And I truly am sorry this happened to you and to all of you. But I do hope that later on you realized, this is an older story, but I really do hope now you realize you can say no and stop stories where they're at, especially if you are uncomfortable or not intrigued, but it's seriously not if you're uncomfortable with what's happening. That is the number 1 rule of all D&D. You can say no. I don't know if it's normal for a DM to input his personal fantasies into a role-playing game where other players are involved, but I think it's safe to say that I'm going to be looking for a new D&D group, and definitely a new DM. TLDR, I had my very first campaign, and the DM lewd my character to hell. I don't know what else to say, but from the rant that I just did, but there is never a point where you guys can't say no. Saying no is your biggest power in D&D. That is the magic you will all have playing D&D, stronger than any magic in the game. you have to understand you and your feelings matter more than anything. Anybody has the power to say no and the power to stop. If things don't change, either make them change or leave. That is the power that every person has playing D&D. And there's nothing else that could really be said to make any of this better. But I want you guys to know personally from me that my channel and me as a person are a safe space. If you guys have concerns, questions, stuff like that, you guys can go to my Discord. It's going to be linked in the description. You guys can talk to me there. If you guys want to talk more privately, I have no problem doing that. But the biggest power people have in D&D that is stronger than any magic in the game or any power scaling of anything is the ability to say no and walk away. But with that being said, I hope you guys didn't enjoy that story, honestly. But if you guys would like more stories read out or anything you guys have ideas for, leave them in the comments below. Tell me how I can improve. And remember to be safe and enjoy my forest hovel. Farewell.